Good morning, welcome back to the shop. Today we've got this beautiful French horn, but it has rotor issues. Very sluggish. This one doesn't move. That one goes down but doesn't come back up. Chemical flush, like always, nothing new to see there. And then we're going to talk rotors. So let's get this torn down and get into it. Come join along. You'll notice here that the rotors are indexed, each one. And I built tools to match. And I use them like a punch. So you never want to use a screwdriver. You'll just cut this brass. That does nothing. So you want to use a punch that won't distort anything. Okay, let's see what we got. Oh, yes. Yep. Same old funky, crusty buildup. You'll notice that every rotor has a number. Okay, we're going to get this chem flushed and I'll see you on the flip side. Okay, so through the magic of editing, we're done with the chem flush. Everything looks much better and we're ready to reinstall on the horn. Now this is a cross section of what the rotor looks like. So what I want to talk about is if you oil the top bearing plate, which is under the cap, which sets on the top here, then you are oiling this part, right? If you have a needle oiler or you have valve oil and you put on to here, when you take the cap off, this, if you oil just this, it stays right here. Same if you oil the back side where the stop arm meets, which is this section of the rotor where it comes through back here, and you're oiling here, then it gets to this point and it stops. And you're not oiling the face of the rotor. So you need a combination of all of those parts. So typically what we do is we oil the spindle, then we put that in the horn. We then oil the face with a valve oil or rotor oil of some kind, and then finally we do the top. So that's what we're going to show now. Finally, we come back across the top. Each rotor plate has mission marks on it, which will also correspond. Use a wooden driver to seat this down. Then I always come back with a little bit more. And just to keep the plate from tarnishing, I put some on there as well. And then put the rotor caps on. From here, you're ready to remove the stop arms and then restring with everything in position. You get the stop arm realigned with the way that it indexes on and push it down. Once we have everything back together and put back in the right spots, rotors are all freely moving, everything's in. Last is to restring it. To restring, take a length, make a figure 8 knot, so that your knot looks like a figure 8. You want to pull it tight so it's a knot on itself, like this. I'll drop a diagram of how to restring the instrument. Let's see if I can maneuver this. See if I can watch myself through a camera lens and do it. Let's do the number 1. This is the number 1 rotor here. Number 4, this is a floating kind of a deal, so we're gonna just jump in this way. So we go through, it's gonna go around, and under this screw head, this other part that's in my right hand is going to make a loop over and left hand is going to kind of help pull that down. Under the screw, but over. Notice that the string goes around this and comes out on the underside. Go ahead and stake that down. Snug it up a bit. Okay? Now your string goes under, cooperate string. The string goes under between the lever. See that? That goes under. And then through the hole. Like that. Then it gets locked into position. So you make another loop. When it pulls out here, make another loop. Boom. See? Like this. And lasso that screw on top. And pull it towards the front of the instrument. Snug it up this way. This particular horn uses 3 different size screws, so I always grab for the wrong. And go ahead and snug that down. That's not your final placement, but that ties off your rotor. And then when you adjust the height of everything, then you can go back and move that. Now just to do the others. All right. So everything's looking real good. We've got the rotors adjusted where you look across them, they're all the same height. Everything works great. Everything's nice and happy. There are many different thoughts on applying valve oil to the surfaces of your rotors. You'll use the needle oiler on the top and on the back, but how do you do the valve faces themselves? Some people will take their valve oil and go straight down the mouth pipe, blow through. Some people will go in through a slide. I like to do this number one slide on the top, ease it out. I take the top off, bam. I put probably a teaspoon at the least, tablespoon at the most. I ease it back in with it so it's still all down here. Then I turn it upside down, let the oil flow into the rotors. Blows across the surface. It blows a lot of that junk out. It will come out the bell. You don't have to worry about over oiling. It's just going to come out the bell. If you oil it on all three surfaces, you're going to have much better action when you pick it up after putting it down over Christmas break or spring break or something like that. The likelihood of your rotors being frozen is not so much. So there's some tips on keeping your rotors going. Thanks for watching, everybody. See you next time.